Welcome to the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery. All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into something that, I think everybody struggles with, and that's like getting a big project off the ground. And, when you're trying to get something big going, you need support. You need to know where to find it.
Absolutely.
And so today we're going to be looking at social network webbing.
Ooh, I like that.
And we're going to be using the Liberating Structures website as our guide for this one.
Great. So social network webbing.
Yeah.
What's so cool about this is that it's like networking.
Right.
But it's not just like handing out business cards and,
Right.
It's really about
Yeah.
visualizing the connections you already have.
Okay.
So that you can find resources and strengthen bonds and like build new connections.
So it's more than just like knowing people's names.
Yeah.
It's like really understanding the influence they have.
Exactly. Yeah, like who are your champions for your project? Who might be skeptical? Who are the people that just seem to know everyone?
Oh, those connectors.
Yeah, those connectors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do we actually do this, though?
Well,
Is it like algorithms? Is it like fancy software?
no. It's really low tech.
Okay.
All you need is a big space. Sticky notes.
Markers?
Markers, yeah. And the first thing you need is your core team together.
Okay.
The people that are like on your project.
Gotcha.
This is a team effort.
Okay, so I'm not like sitting in my office by myself mapping out everybody I know.
Yeah.
This is more like we're doing this together.
Yeah, a little bit more collective intelligence going on here.
Okay, cool. So we've got our team together now. What?
So you're going to create a legend. Okay. And this is where you start to categorize all the different people in your network.
Okay.
Not by their job title, but by their influence or their role.
Okay, so like I'm assigning a color or a symbol to these different types of people. Like maybe a green sticky note is somebody who's already supportive of the project. And then like a red sticky note is somebody who I know is going to be a little bit skeptical and needs convincing.
Yeah, that's a great visual.
Okay.
And you wouldn't believe how this simple act of categorizing really starts to like illuminate things.
Cool.
So you got everybody's names on sticky notes.
Okay.
Your core team is in the center of your workspace.
Oh.
Okay.
So the core team's the heart of the web.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to get a visual here.
Yeah.
So then what? Do we just start like randomly sticking people that we know around them?
Well, no. Each core team member thinks about who they know that's already involved in this type of work.
Okay.
And they add those names to the web.
Gotcha.
And it's important to think about how close are they to the core team. And you might even think about friends of friends.
Oh, wow.
That might have some expertise.
So this is where like those informal connections really start to shine.
Absolutely.
It's like degrees of separation, but with a purpose.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And as you're adding these connections, you're going to start to see like clusters
Okay.
and gaps and potential bridges between different parts of your network.
So it's kind of like one of those moments where it's like, oh, wow, I didn't realize how connected all of this stuff was.
Totally. An aha moment.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you're really starting to see like the reach of your network and all the potential pathways that you may not have even realized were there.
It's like unlocking all these like
The hidden power.
the hidden power
Yeah.
within the relationships that are already existing.
You already have. Yeah.
Okay. So now we've got all these names on a wall.
Yes.
We're seeing who's connected to who, then what?
So this is where you move from mapping to strategizing.
Okay.
You start to ask these critical questions like, who knows whom?
Okay.
Where are the power dynamics? Who has the influence and expertise?
It's almost like we're playing a game of chess or checkers or something, and we're like, okay, how do all these pieces fit together, and how do I strategize moving forward?
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
Because it brings in the element of strategy.
Ah.
Like you might identify someone who's a connector to a whole bunch of people that are skeptics.
Oh.
That person's going to be really important
Right.
to getting buy-in for your project.
Or maybe there's a champion who's connected to like funders.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I can see how this is valuable.
It makes it way easier to like figure out a targeted approach.
Absolutely. Okay.
And don't forget about those aspirational connections too.
Yeah.
The people that you would like to be involved.
Huh?
Even if they're not currently in your network, maybe there's like a renowned expert in your field that could really lend support.
Yeah.
Or a community leader that could amplify your message.
So this is where we think big.
Yeah.
We don't just limit ourselves to who we know.
Yeah.
We start brainstorming like, okay, what are those like, almost dream connections that could like take this to another level.
Exactly. And as you start to add those, your network map will likely start to look like, a web with like a core and a periphery, representing both your current network and then its potential.
Cool. So we've gone from this like jumbled up mess in our heads to now we're actually seeing it.
Yes.
I can start to see how this is so powerful.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on why it's so much more effective than just having like a list of names in my contacts or in my phone?
Well, it's all about going from knowing their names to understanding like the dynamics of your network.
Right.
By visualizing this web,
Right.
you can see who's connected to whom, where the power lies, and how all those different connections can be leveraged to reach your goal.
So it's not just WHO. It's like how all of those relationships are working together.
It's the how.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Social network webbing really gives you that bird's eye view of your network and allows you to see the patterns and possibilities that you just wouldn't see if you were just using memory or a list.
This is blowing my mind, I'm not going to lie.
It's powerful stuff.
This is powerful stuff. I can see how this would be incredibly valuable for individuals.
Totally.
Teams.
Organizations.
Organizations.
But like everybody.
Yeah. It could be applied to all kinds of situations.
Yeah.
From launching a product to, driving social change.
Wow.
It's really about harnessing all of that collective intelligence and the resources of your network to achieve something amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
So I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Like, we're taking something that's really intangible, which is our relationships.
Yeah.
And making it something we can actually see.
Yes.
Something we can analyze.
That's a really good point. And that shift from abstract to concrete can be incredibly powerful.
Right. It's like you're turning on a light in a dark room.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you can see everything.
You see it all.
So what do we do with this map, though, once we've created it?
Yeah.
It can't just be about pretty pictures.
Well, yeah, the map is just the beginning. The real work comes in when you use it to strategize and take action. One of the most valuable things I think about social network webbing is that it can help you identify those roadblocks and boosters.
Okay, so we're not just looking at who can help us. We're also looking at who might hinder our progress.
Yeah.
That seems a little Machiavellian.
Well, not necessarily. It's more about understanding the dynamics of your network and anticipating potential challenges.
Good.
Like, for example, let's say you're trying to implement a new initiative at work. You might realize through mapping that there are a group of people who are very influential that are really resistant to change.
Oh, it could be a roadblock.
That's a road.
If you don't know it's coming.
Exactly.
But now that I know it's coming, I can figure out a way to get around it.
Totally. You can use the map to figure out, okay, who can I talk to that might influence them?
Yeah.
Or how can I develop a communication strategy that specifically addresses their concerns?
Right. It's all about using this knowledge now to navigate better.
Exactly.
This is making so much sense.
Yeah.
You're like transforming this map now into a roadmap
Love it.
for achieving our goals.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I have a tendency, and I think other people do too, to really overcomplicate things.
Totally.
I can already imagine myself trying to like categorize every single relationship.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody like me?
I would say simplicity is key.
Okay.
Especially when you're first starting out. Don't try to get super detailed and have 50 different categories. Just focus on like the major groups or roles that are relevant.
So quality over quantity.
Yes, quality over quantity.
Exactly.
When it comes to my network map.
Absolutely. And remember those long shot connections we were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to reach out to those folks.
Okay.
You never know.
Yeah.
What kinds of opportunities could come from those unexpected connections? It's easy to get stuck in your comfort zone with the people you already know.
Right.
But it's those like weaker ties that could sometimes
on the periphery
provide the most value.
Sometimes they have the most valuable insights or connections.
My mind is shifting when it comes to networking. I always thought it was like schmoozing and getting business cards.
Right.
But this is like a whole other thing.
It is. It's a different way of looking at it.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the dynamics of human connection.
And it sounds like something that is mutually beneficial.
Authentic.
And mutually beneficial.
Okay. I love this. I'm so glad we're doing this deep dive.
Yeah.
So it's not just about like hitting goals with this though, right?
Well, yeah, and it's important to remember that it's not just about achieving specific goals.
Okay.
You know, it's a powerful tool for personal growth and development too.
Like, how so?
Well, because when you're mapping your network,
Uh-huh.
you're also getting a deeper understanding of your own social capital. Like, what are the resources and support available to you through your connections?
Yeah.
You might even discover some hidden talents or passions that you have,
That's a good point.
or find new mentors or collaborators.
You're not just mapping your network, you're mapping your own potential.
Yes, exactly. Social network webbing is a journey of self-discovery,
I love that.
as much as it is a tool for achieving your goals.
And sometimes those two things go hand in hand.
They do.
They do.
This is so insightful. I feel like I'm looking at my own network and myself
Yeah.
in a whole new light.
I love it.
But can this be applied to something as abstract as, like, tackling climate change?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Social network webbing is incredibly valuable for those complex challenges that require, collective action.
Okay.
So if you think about climate change, there are so many individuals, organizations, and communities working on this.
Yeah, but they're all kind of working in their own little silos.
But their efforts are very siloed and fragmented.
Right. And so if we mapped it out,
Yeah, if you could map it out.
we could see where those collaborations could be.
Exactly. You could identify potential collaborations.
We could amplify each other's messages.
You could amplify messages.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really build a more unified movement.
So like we're weaving a web of change.
Yes, I love that.
It's beautiful.
Social network webbing can be a very powerful catalyst for social change.
Okay.
But it's not just about connecting people.
It's about connecting
It's about connecting ideas,
resources.
action, and actions.
Yeah. It's tuning a network of individuals into a collective force for good.
Exactly. And that's where the magic happens,
I love it.
when people come together with a shared purpose
Yeah.
and a clear understanding of their interconnectedness.
It's so powerful.
Incredible things can happen.
You know, I'm even thinking about our podcast and how we could use this to map out all the amazing guests we've had and all the topics we've discussed and all the connections that we've made along the way.
I love that idea.
To see it visually?
Yeah, we could identify key themes, influential guests,
Yeah.
potential areas for growth.
Even use it to reach out to new guests.
Totally. Even use it to connect with new guests, explore new topics,
Expand to new audiences.
expand our reach.
Like we're taking our own advice and we're actually using it to enhance the podcast.
We are!
I love it.
Yeah,
This deep dive is sparking like a chain reaction of ideas.
it is. It's
And
possibilities.
That's the beauty of learning and exploring new concepts.
Yeah,
You just never know where it might lead you.
it's true. And sometimes it's like the most unexpected connections that lead to the most profound insights.
Totally.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we've covered so much ground.
We have.
I feel like we've only scratched the surface, though,
Yeah.
of social network webbing.
Yeah.
There's so much more to explore.
There
to
is.
discover.
Well, and that's what's so great about this method is that it invites that ongoing exploration, adaptation, innovation.
For our listeners who are just hearing about this for the first time,
What would be like that one nugget that you would want them to take away?
I would say the most important thing to remember is that we all have the power to shape and leverage our networks to achieve our goals and make a positive impact.
Yeah.
Social network webbing is just a framework
Right.
for doing it more consciously and strategically.
More intentionally.
Yes, it's not about manipulating people.
Yeah.
It's about understanding and nurturing those connections that matter the most.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
So for our listeners who want to dive deeper, where can they go?
Well, the source that we were looking at for this deep dive is the Liberating Structures website.
Okay.
They've got a whole page
Yeah.
all about social network webbing
Okay.
with detailed instructions, examples, variations.
Cool.
It's a great resource for anyone who wants to put these ideas into practice.
Awesome. We'll put that in the show notes for everybody.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I want to leave our listeners with a final thought-provoking question.
Okay, let's do it.
So now that you've seen how powerful this is
Yeah.
of mapping your network,
Mm-hmm.
what one connection could you strengthen or make today
Ooh,
that would have the biggest impact on your goal?
I like that. That's a question worth pondering.
Sometimes the smallest shift in our network
Mm-hmm.
can create like the biggest ripple effect.
Absolutely.
So true. All right, folks, that wraps up part 2
Okay.
of our deep dive into the world of social network webbing.
Yeah.
I hope you're finding it as insightful and inspiring as we are.
Me too.
We'll be back in a moment for the final part of this episode.
Okay, sounds good.
As we've been talking about social network webbing, I can't help but think about how it really challenges that old school view of networking.
Right.
Where it's like,
Yeah.
what can you do for me?
It's very transactional.
Very transactional.
Yeah.
This is not like that.
No, this is definitely a shift from that mentality. It's about seeing the value that everyone brings to the network, even if it's not immediately obvious.
It's almost like moving from a mindset of scarcity to a mindset of abundance.
Abundance,
Like instead of it being this competition for limited resources, we're saying, hey, there's all this potential here.
There is for collaboration.
Collaboration.
Yeah.
Mutual benefit.
Mutual benefit.
And I think that's so powerful.
It can be incredibly liberating when you approach networking with that generosity and that willingness to contribute.
Yeah.
It just opens up so many possibilities.
Like the more you give, the more you get.
Right.
But it's not even about giving to get.
No, it's not a quid pro quo.
Right.
It's about realizing we're all connected.
And by supporting each other, we all rise.
Exactly. We strengthen the whole network.
So this is not about using people or exploiting connections.
Definitely not.
To get ahead.
It's about building those genuine relationships.
Right.
Based on respect and trust.
And a shared purpose.
And that shared sense of purpose.
Yes. I think that's what makes this so powerful. It's not just a technique to achieve something.
It's a way of being.
Like a way of being in the world.
Totally. A way of connecting with others in a way that's more meaningful.
More impactful.
And impactful.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's really about recognizing that our networks, they're not just tools.
Yeah.
They're these like living, breathing ecosystems that we're all a part of.
And just like any ecosystem, the health of that ecosystem depends on everybody contributing.
So we're not just mapping it out. We're tending to it.
We're tending to it.
We're nurturing it.
We're nurturing it. We're helping it to grow.
Like a garden.
Like a garden. I love that.
Yeah.
And just like a gardener carefully cultivates their plants, we have to be mindful of the relationships that we're cultivating in our network. You know, we have to be intentional about who we connect with, how we interact with them, what value we're bringing to the table.
And just like a garden needs pruning. To get rid of like the dead branches.
The overgrown branches.
The overgrown branches.
Yeah.
We need to do the same thing sometimes with our networks.
It's true. It's okay to be selective about who you include in your network.
You don't have to be friends with everybody.
No, you don't.
It's okay to let go of certain connections.
Yeah, sometimes you need to prune those away.
It's really about focusing on the relationships that matter. The ones that make you feel good, the ones that
energize you,
inspire you, support you.
Yeah, the ones that help you be your best self.
Be your best self.
And those relationships can be found in all areas of our lives.
Absolutely.
You know, at work, in our communities, in our personal circles.
Yeah.
It's not just a professional tool.
It's a way of life.
It's a way of life.
It's about approaching every interaction.
Yeah.
With curiosity.
Yeah.
Openness. And a willingness to connect.
Absolutely.
And you never know that chance meeting at the coffee shop could turn into a lifelong friendship. Totally.
A groundbreaking collaboration.
A life-changing opportunity.
Who knows?
You never know.
Possibilities are endless.
When we open ourselves up.
When we open ourselves up to that.
To connection.
To connection.
Yeah.
I think that's the message.
I think that's the most important.
We want to leave everybody with,
as
we wrap up this deep dive into social network webbing.
Social network webbing.
We hope you've enjoyed it.
I hope so.
We hope it's been insightful, inspiring,
maybe even a little bit life-changing.
Life-changing.
And as we close this out, we really encourage you to take some time to reflect on your own network.
Your own network.
Who are those people that inspire you?
Support you.
Challenge you to grow. And what connections could you strengthen or make today that would bring more joy? Purpose. And impact to your life. It's not about collecting contacts.
It's not.
It's about cultivating relationships that matter.
Absolutely.
It's about weaving that web of connection.
A web of connection,
that supports you in achieving your goals. Living your values. And making a positive impact on the world.
A positive difference.
Beautiful.
Thank you for joining us on this journey.
Thank you.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
And maybe even a little life-changing.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep connecting, and keep diving deep.
See you next time on the Facilitators Deep Dive Podcast, your podcast on your way to facilitation mastery. Until next time.
See you then.